just when you were talking to the previous person, I just got a lead call. From
you should have just done it live with us.
they just called me and they just
Okay.
called me. So I
So
just
tell me a little bit about it.
nothing. It was just so what I'm doing lately is I'm reverse driving for dollars on probate leads
Okay.
and on foreclosure. Like I'm basically doing it on all my lists.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was one I put a few days ago actually. And so they just called me and said, yeah, they're looking to sell this, that, and the other. Just now's not a good time. Can you give me a call back later? I'm like, sure, I'll call you back later.
Okay. Cool,
Yeah.
man.
So
Okay.
yeah. Well, I actually have a few questions because
Okay.
I need some help. All right, I have it written down here. So right now I have I have two really good leads. But I'll tell you about the first one that she really wants to sell, but she's going through probate and she thinks that she can't sell because she's going through the probate process. Now, I'll be honest, I talked to Zach about it, but he said to go to you.
Okay.
Um, I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen many of your videos about probate. Earlier today I was, and I understood a little bit better, but I just want to get your feedback right now about like if it's still in the probate process, I can still put it under contract and like how do I proceed from there?
Okay. What state are you in, Fernando?
Pensacola, Florida.
Oh, okay. So this is easy.
Okay.
Um, so what's her biggest objection? Repeat it out loud.
No, that she cannot sell because it's in probate, and if it were not in probate, she would have already sold it.
Okay. So is she the personal representative for the probate?
I'll be honest, she was in a rush and I couldn't get that much info out
Okay.
of her. So yeah.
So the first thing, the number one with all probates is never attack price on your first conversation.
Okay.
You're wasting your time. Price is actually the easiest part of probate.
Okay.
It's not that it's not significant, but most people attack price and they freak people out. Okay. So
Gotcha.
number one, you want to establish of what her relationship is to that probate. It's important. The
Okay.
person, so we're talking about Florida. By the way, guys, 48 states, really 50 states, but every state has a little bit different terminology. For the most part, about 45% of the US operates under this theory I'm operating on. So you have to define who you're talking to. So I'm just going to give you some basic terms. The PR, which is the personal representative, that's the person who's in charge, who has been appointed to oversee the estate.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
The second one that you want to keep an eye on is the heirs. The heirs are the people that get the benefit. So if there was like 4 children, they split up 25%. And typically the PR is one of the heirs as well. Okay.
Okay.
You want to make sure you focus on the PR because that's the person who has the power to sign the contract. That's the person who's in charge. Everybody else is hearsay. So I used to attack the heirs, a waste of time. Your problem is typically going to be with the attorney. Okay. So what I try to do is have a conversation when they say, well, I can't sell it because it's in probate.
Yep.
And here's simply what I say. Well, Sue, why do you think that? And just shut up. 9 times out of 10, you say, my probate lawyer told me I cannot sell it till the probate's done. Okay. It's 100% a complete lie and fabrication. Why? Because it's easier for the lawyer to block everybody out and stay in control of that probate. Okay. Here's how most probates work. A probate is a legal process to wrap up the affairs of a deceased person. Mm-hmm. Predominantly real estate is one of the biggest one, but there's other things. There's stocks, there's bonds, there's checking accounts, there's cars, boats, etc. Okay. The biggest problem for people is typically real estate. Okay. And when someone passes away, people die with mortgages. Remember, you still got to run the electric. You got to do the insurance. You got to plow snow. You've got to mow the lawn. You got to deal with hurricanes in the south. It's a nightmare. Like, so when people get this, like, you kidding me? How long does a probate take? Well, if it was up to a lawyer, it would take 5 years. Okay. I'm not kidding you. Like, I've seen every manipulation by lawyers. I'm not saying all lawyers are bad, but I've seen the worst of lawyers in probates. Okay. So since we're in Florida, I can give you direct guided directions here because I've done this hundreds of times.
Awesome.
Okay. The reality is a probate it encompasses the house. Okay. So you want to find out if how she's titled on the property, who was titled on the property.
Okay.
Okay. Sometimes when you guys know if it's a husband and wife on title, and keep in mind, guys, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving legal advice. I'm just telling you how to work as a wholesaler. Okay. So don't quote me on legal advice. Sometimes properties, they go through different types of probates. So a simple property where there's a husband and wife in there, the lawyer's trying to exclude it outside the probate, and they file for what they call a summary judgment, which basically pulls out of the probate so the other spouse can take clean title and take off the deceased person. Those are a piece of cake and they go lightning fast. 30 to 45 days, I can have the property bought and sold. By the way, most probates are vacant. Is this house vacant, by the way?
I don't believe so because I put a sticky note on it and they called me from that sticky note and it looks like they were leaving the house because they're going to church. So I don't believe so.
Okay. So what you're trying to do is first clarify what her role is. And you also want to clarify that she wants to sell it. I can't tell you how many probates I go through it. Like, yeah, we're going to keep it. I'm like, well, if something changes, please give me a call if you need any help with it. Sometimes it's too big of a project for them. By the way, when the house is motivated, they usually want to make a much quicker decision. Sometimes they're emotionally attached to the house and you just got to give it time. Okay. What you're trying to do is find the motivation is a lot of them go like, I don't want to pay the more. So then you ask some basic questions. You know, if there's a mortgage on the house, by the way, through listrei.com, you can find out a lot of stuff in a click of a button. Okay. Yes. If there's a mortgage, they're usually even much more motivated to get rid of the house because somebody has to pay that mortgage. Yeah. A lot of times, Fernando, they don't pay the mortgage. And guess what? The equity just gets eaten away by the bank. And then the bank usually will hire a lawyer, make it 10 times worse. Okay. So ask as many questions as you can. Honestly, a lot of times these take between 4 and 6 conversations to pull all the information out. While you're doing that, the goal is to build as much rapport with that PR as humanly possible. Okay. I make little friendly suggestions and I take calculated risk because I'm an investor. Okay. If she goes, man, I don't know how I'm going to mow the lawn. I drove by the house and the lawn's like 2 feet high. If she's cooperating me and working with me, I'll go pay someone to mow the lawn. Dude, it goes for $50 will go like forever. Okay. And it's the right thing to do and you help people out. Okay. A lot of times they'll offer to reimburse you. You can do it like that. I offer to get a key cut. She goes, I don't know how to get a key. Long as you get an email from them with their permission, you can get a locksmith out there and cut a key. Or if you want to change it yourself and you have permission, if you do that, you actually get a lot of control with the property.
Okay.
Okay. The idea is to find out if she wants to sell it, any liens on the property and what she wants to do with it. And she's going to tell you, hey, Fernando, I like everything you say, but my lawyer said I can't do anything till the probate's complete. Well, hey, Mr. Seller, what if I could show you a way where you could sell the property before the probate's complete? That way you don't have to pay the mortgage anymore. We don't have to mow the lawn. You don't have to maintain the utilities, and you don't have to worry about the rest of hurricane season. Is that something we can sit down and talk about? You have to give them incentive to meet with them. You can't give them everything over the phone or you're never going to get anything done unless you have to do it virtually. Okay. Gotcha. Then when you meet with them, let them know they have the power. They have the authorization to enter into a contract to sell the house. And the benefits of working with me is if you enter into a contract with me, I'll be flexible through the probate process, but I'll show you how you can submit an order through your lawyer to the judge to liquidate this asset out of the probate so it's no longer a headache for you. Now, they have to wait to get the money till the probate's over. That's correct. But they don't have to wait to sell the house. That's it. Okay. And you have to do it systematically like that. I want you to go back and watch the replay. I'll explain it to you. But I love when people present problems. I can't sell the house till the probate's over. Dude, I've entered hundreds of orders. Now, here's the reality. If you can connect with her and build that rapport before that lawyer flexes his muscle and gets in the way, you will have a much easier time. The minute you have to go through the lawyer, I'm going to be honest with you, it sucks because they flex we need to get an appraisal.
Yeah.
I need to review this contract. So if you can beat her with speed and get that contract signed, maybe you mow the lawn for her. Maybe you look out for the house. Maybe you clean up some debris around the house and show you're on her side. That lawyer's done nothing but take money from her. I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
Lawyer's going to hate you for it, but they're going to respect you in the end. Okay. Once you have it under contract, you're simply going to tell her, not the lawyer. Ask your lawyer to file for a motion to liquidate the asset. Oh, what are you talking about? Just go to your title company. They'll show you how to do it too. You can do this in the state of Florida and most of the states. Not every state's the same. Don't quote me on this outside the state of Florida. But I'm in Florida. I'm telling you exactly how to do it. I made a killing just by solving this problem, and you can do it too. The key is make sure you leave them enough to go meet with them and don't tell them how to do everything over the phone without you.
Okay.
You're the only guy who's going to make her this offer and solution. Every real estate agent thinks they have to wait till the end. What happens if you wait till the end, Fernando? Think about it.
They beat me to it.
Yeah, you're going to be in line and you're going to be bidding on MLS for that property.
Mm-hmm.
So solve a problem, spend a few bucks, help them out. And in that time, when she enters in the contract, guess what you can do? You can shop the thing around.
That's
all day long. You can even adjust the price. But if she treats you fairly, you help her out. You're trying to beat that attorney. Attorneys move like slow motion. Everything's 30 to 60 days. Okay. Once she signs that contract with you, now you can push. And then the attorney's either going to fight you, challenge you, but in the end, you'll get what you want, even if it takes you another few months. Okay.
Okay. And wow, that's a bunch of info. I'll go
it
back.
Works. Just go back to the replay. I'm telling you guys, I do this every day, every week, every day. Oh, the attorney told me I couldn't sell it. Really? I'm in multiple. I've entered into lawsuits with attorneys to challenge this. I do it all the time. I even give them case studies like, hey, on this day, I can give you cases I've done it with. I do it all the time. The attorneys try to hide these like little motions you can do because they don't want to do it. They want to drag it on as long as possible and be in control. Why? They want the real estate agent. Why? They get a kickback. Why would they have to do an appraisal? Because their buddy's an appraiser and they get a $150 kickback on it. It just never stops. I'm not saying all attorneys are like this, but I'm here to tell you your seller just has bad information and you got to be careful because I try not to give them too much. I try to meet with them and tell them induce them in entering in a contract with me. And listen, you can't make a probate go through, but she goes, listen, I don't want to pay the mortgage. I don't want to do anything else. And the best thing to do is sell this thing as fast as possible so you don't have to make any more payments or take care of it. Let me show you how to do it. Well, I was told to listen, in the end, and by the way, you want to use your state approved contracts. You don't want to use a wholesale contract for this because the attorney is going to go nuts on you. I'm just telling you. And you can leave as little of a deposit as you want, like $100, $500. And they're usually very negotiable with you on the price. So the minute the attorney gets involved, he's going to tell her what the least amount they need to take for the property and becomes a nightmare. So go back and watch the rewind on this. I'm telling you, this will work out for you. These are the situations you want to help people out in probate because they only have one side of the story. You're here to tell the other side of the story. And the attorney's not going to like you for it, but in the end, he or she will respect you.
Well, coincidentally, I was going to ask you this a few days ago about this particular case I'm talking about. But today, when I was out and about reverse driving for dollars and all that, I got another one, same situation, but even more motivation, probate and pre-foreclosure. So,
oh my God,
that one's going to be crazy.
You got to move with speed on those because the problem is once they give it to an attorney and they follow those pendants, it adds a significant, like the attorney's fees if you guys ever work foreclosures, you look at these judgments and these amounts, it's crazy.
Well, I actually wanted your feedback on this because what I've been doing a little bit lately is I know how to pull the probates and the list pendants from the clerk, right?
Okay.
Online. What I'm doing is I'm pulling them daily. It's not much. It's like 2 to 5. Sometimes, well, yesterday was like 9. But it's like
it's smart because speed kills.
Yeah, so I'm pulling them daily, and the very next day I'm going and reverse driving for dollars those properties.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
what do
you
you
got
think?
it.
Is that good? Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Listen, guys, any type of, especially court list. So we got government list. Now I'm breaking down. You get court list. Any fresh filings, probates. Oh my God. You know, when I first did probates, I was so eager to do them. Like we would go 2 to 3 times a week. Any type of foreclosure. Listen, early bird gets the worm. It works in this one. I'm telling you. Okay. Um, the problem with foreclosures is like, Nick's putting on here, don't touch foreclosures. That's not the attitude you want. Just be the first one to touch the foreclosure, the last one to touch the foreclosure. Foreclosure is a lot of drama involved in them. You're just trying to find someone that wants to work with you. The reality is most people wait till their house goes to auction, then they're super motivated with you when there's no equity, nothing left in the house.
Yeah.
I can't help people out like that. I don't bother. I tell you, if they're within 30 days of sale, unless there's a ton of equity in it, don't bother.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, guys, eviction list. If you can catch them fresh, you'll be the first one to have a shot at them. I teach you. I believe, and I have a video that I did recently. I think Zach posted it. I tell you how to reverse search for the best eviction deals before they go on your court list. How do I teach? I teach it through garage sales. They're really easy. Like even the landlord doesn't even know it's happened because all the stuff's on the corner piled up and they're selling everything. That's a tenant that's moving out at midnight. I, I did that for 3 years, and I actually did an entire video and spelled it out. So you can search that. I believe it's garage sales shopping, something like that. There's
Oh,
so many ways, but if you guys are going to attack court list, the lazy wholesaler is going to get 6 months worth of leads and think they're super smart. Dude, I tried that. It doesn't work. If we could all do that, we would all do that. Who's ever fresh on that list, I'm here to tell you, they're going to get first crack. And if you can connect with that person, you'll probably do more damage than any other person that's going to contact them.
yeah.
So,
Funny enough, I was watching your probate video earlier, the one that you did a while back, and you said the exact same thing, that you tried to do it in bulk and it just didn't work because speed
yeah.
kills. Okay.
So you got, but the problem is, here's the reality on probates. I want everybody to understand this: is most people, they try probates, they start, they get super excited, and the energy fades after 30 or 60 days. Why? Because they didn't get a deal right away. And I'm telling you, probates are not a quick fix. So if you plan on being a wholesaler for the long run, think about it. If you can plant a seed and have a conversation and come back and pick up a $30,000 to $50,000 check, would you do it? You do it all day long.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I'm so successful in probates, because I don't give up. The problem is there's a constant rotation of investors and real estate agents going through probates looking for the quick hit. Yes, guys, we want to make fast cash on wholesaling, and I love it. I've been doing this 20 years. I've waited people out 4 and 5 years before. If you will be patient, you will be rewarded so massively in the long run, because probates typically have the highest profit and the most motivation. They just got to have a problem to get solved, and everybody has a different time frame to solve the problem, and you just have to work with them.
Yeah. Okay. That's exactly right.
I did. I'm just like, and guys, I knew nothing about probates. You know what my attitude was when I did probates first? You're gonna laugh about this. I felt like I was in like an ambulance chaser. I was like, I don't want to do that.
That's exactly what
And
you said in the video.
I went back and I decided to just attack probates like a child. And honestly, if you ever want to learn something really good, just dive in and just do it 100%. So I went down to the probate court and I asked the clerk, like, how does this work? How do you file them? How can I get a list of them? How do I find the PR? How do I do this? How do I do that? And after a while, I was like, oh my God. And you find like these little tricks, like in the state of Florida. I'll give you, see, you're good on here. If you pull your evictions, 70% of the evictions will put the landlord's name and phone number on them because they typically like to file them themselves.
Well, I know I know every county is different,
Yeah.
but here in Escambia County, I know that on the probate one, it's grantor and grantee. I don't know if the grantee is the PR, right? I don't know. Do you know?
I got to look at the document. I don't want to give bad information out here,
I got
but
you.
like questions like that, here's what I always tell you is don't assume anything and just take 10, 15 minutes, go down to the probate court and get direct answers, like 100%. So I'm used to that in regards to a deed. I haven't really seen that on the probates, but I don't really touch the probates anymore. So I don't want to give you a lazy answer and give you an
I got,
incorrect one.
I got you.
Whenever you're in doubt with it, if you can go straight to the source, and this goes with anything in life, it will fix a lot of your problems. So many times we all make like assumptions about stuff, and then we assume it's factual, and you're like, holy crap, he was wrong. I can tell you, I've done this so many times in wholesaling. So just go down there, ask questions, and become like their best friend, and they will make your life easier. I used to go 2 to 3 times a week. And then when I had a difficult county, I sent my wife in, like undercover. I go, can you? I go, holy moly, she wouldn't give me any information, and you got it all. And I just learned it's like people have different temperatures. They just didn't like me. Like I get it. I was a bulldog. I tried to run them over, sent them in with a sweet lady and a kind attitude, and they just destroyed it. So a lot of times you just have to look at ways to attack the problem. And being a problem solver is all a wholesaler does. Guys, the real estate is nothing more than a side equation of what we do, period. So anything you get on a government list, court list, just keep breaking it down. Like you'll find some states on the eviction list, they're required to put the landlord's phone number on the initial filing. I can rattle off like 10 states that do that. Not every state does it.
I'll have to look into it. I'll definitely have to look into it.
I love evictions. Either you hit them right up front or, it doesn't work. Don't do them 6 months after the fact. It's a waste of time. So
I got you. I'll have to see the video, the garage sale one, to really get it.
Yeah, got it. Just stick with probates and do it long term. And remember, they just take time. But man, when they pay you, you're like, holy moly, that was worth it. They just take time. And most wholesalers don't want to wait. And don't get me wrong, if you can do short, fast cash and long-term cash, you'll do very well in wholesaling. But so many people just teach to grab the fast cash. And sometimes that's the hardest cash you have to work for in wholesaling.
I got you. And I got one last thing, and I'll let you go.
Okay, shoot.
So how many times should I call my driving for dollars list until I'm eventually like, okay, they're not going to pick up. I'm just going to go put a sticky note on the house, because I've been doing it just one time, and I feel like I'm doing unnecessary work because maybe they just didn't pick up the one time, Yeah.
Well, here's the deal, dude. You've already paid or put the time in to get the phone number. I would try everyone until they like pick up, or like you just get tired of doing it. I mean, once you have the information, it's like how many times do you want to sit there and pound away at it? But I don't ever throw away that information. Keep it up in a separate file of like do not answers. You can do the sticky notes, and then down the road, what you can do is you can hire a VA to rip through that list, because like we have hundreds of thousands of like numbers like that. We paid for and did it. And then in the beginning, it's easy because you don't really have a lot of leads. In the end, some people just throw it all away, which is a terrible idea. You've already paid for the information. You can use them as SMS campaigns down the road. You can hire a VA for a very cheap amount to rip through those phone calls and just try to get a connection and kind of go from there. But I would always try a minimum of 3 times. Like you got to give it your best try 3 times, period.
Oh, that's what I was thinking. Thinking.
Yeah. You got to do 3, but there comes a point where you become a stalker, and then they will never ever connect with you. So some say 5. Me and Zach kind of found 3 was the sweet spot, but there's no right or wrong answer to that. It's just like, I basically do it until they tell me to take a flying leap. So
yeah, because I use the dialer, so I'm just like dial until it's.
I know. So it's like. You'll come up with your own rules, but the idea is you get enough leads, you've done enough deals, you're like, okay, I found after 3, I'm just busting my butt for nothing. And that's what we kind of came up with. But I have friends that do 10 or 12 touches, but they have a huge staff. I don't. I'm not into the big staffs. I'm different.
Gotcha. I gotcha. All right, Rick. Well, I got a few more questions, but I'll ask them on a different time.
Okay. Awesome, man. Okay, let me know how it works out, Fernando. I'll see you.